There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2023. Some of you know my new saying, who are you going to be in 2023? Well, it's here now, folks. So let's hopefully you're going to follow your schedules, do all the things that you said you were going to do. All of you can. We know you can. We're very fortunate today to have, Mr. Joshua Campa on today. Joshua, welcome to the call. Superstar agent, real estate extraordinaire. Joshua, tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, maybe about you and the Chris team and all that stuff, please.
Sure. Well, I'm the co-owner of the McGarry Campa Group at the Berkshire Hathaway Southwest office, where I've called my home for nearly 14 years. I've been in the real estate industry for going on 17 years. I started out working for Chris McGarry in the property management field at his brokerage at the time, McGarry Partners, and we were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to join the Americana family, which is now Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Nevada Properties. And we specialize in a wide variety of different areas of real estate, which is great, including property management, both commercial and residential. And we also do sales both on the commercial and residential side. We have quite the group of about 12 strong agents that support us, and it's been fantastic.
Yes, and it's been an honor to see you and Chris win those awards at the national conventions. A couple of years, number one in commercial too, which is really cool, right? I mean, especially with a network like we have, it's a pretty awesome accomplishment. And working with Chris, I'm sure he's such a great guy. You're such a great guy. That's why it works so well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've worked with Chris, like I said, going on 17 years now, since I started in real estate, and it's so difficult, in life and in real estate to be able to cultivate relationships that are strong and have a really strong foundation with one another. You don't find it often, and Chris and I are truly blessed to have been able to find that so early on in my career, and now it's flourished into something incredibly great, and we're very thankful for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and now you're partners, and that's so awesome. Congratulations. I know it's been a few years like that too. And also, I like the fact that, talk about having your thumb on the pulse. I mean, you guys do residential, you do commercial, you do property management, you also do residential sales. So you get a really good thermometer as far as what's going on in the market at all times.
We do. It's really interesting to see because, although the markets are different and although at different times they might be doing a little bit different things, you can see how they all are codependent on one another. They all affect one another. And sometimes, one will follow the other when it comes to trends or different things like that. We were talking a little bit about the rental market earlier, how it was very similar to the sales market in the third, fourth quarter of this last year. And it's super interesting, but it really, really gives us a great indicator of where we're going, which is an awesome, awesome thing to have, especially in the real estate industry.
Right. Excellent. No, true. And I don't know about you, but the first thing I thought about, because remember when COVID first started, a lot of people working from out of homes and a lot of companies, and
Yeah.
some of them are still. So has that had a big effect on the commercial business?
A little bit. I would say on the office side, it's definitely a different market than it was pre-pandemic. If you're looking at office buildings and things like that, there's definitely a lot more of working from home and whatnot. But it hasn't been to the detriment of any of those product types, to be honest. On the retail side, um, we see different kinds of businesses maybe than we did before. People are shopping a little bit more online now. They're getting things delivered a little bit more, but it hasn't really slowed down. I think if we even look around our city, we see buildings coming up, strip malls, casinos, maybe depending on what area of the valley you're in. And so the commercial industry is booming. It's booming. It totally is, and it has to support the influx of people that have come to our great state, that have come to our city, that are coming to the new home builds, to the new apartment buildings and things of that nature. We've obviously increased our housing numbers quite a bit, and the demand is still there, and we're still supporting it, and we're still trying to build more properties to support it. So until that changes, our commercial market will continue to need to thrive and grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I see commercial. I know. I agree with you 100%. I kind of knew the answer. I just wanted to hear it because you're in it every day. You and Chris are in it every day. I drive by. I go from Summerlin to here. St. Rose. So I go by that new casino right there on the 215. What is that? It's a new South Point. It's one of those coast.
The
coast
Durango, yeah, the Durango Station Casino. We're super excited about that over here in the Southwest. Right, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Southwest office. So I'm sure there'll be many Berkshire Hathaway happy hours there.
That's the way to look at it. There we go. Speaking of that, okay, happy hours and so forth. I've seen you at a lot of events recently because we follow each other on social media. It looks like you've had some fun helping out with the breast cancer, Bobby's group there. Plus, also, I know that you're involved with Las Vegas Realtors and too. Tell me a little bit about how that helps with you and your business as well, being involved in those types of things.
Sure. So I got involved with our association down at LVR a few years ago, serving on the grievance committee, and then really, it's kind of like once you start, you just keep going and going and going. And so I joined a number of different committees down there, forms, trends, property management, and whatnot. And really just the network that you're able to create with your fellow agents down there is something that is really cool to do. You're finding agents from different brokerages. You're finding title reps, lenders, and really able to build a strong network and connection. Because if your team or you as an individual are putting offers in on another property, or you're receiving offers on another property, chances are it's going to be from another agent, unless you're double ending the deal. And to be able to build those connections and that rapport with other agents to get your offer accepted easier, to have that relationship already established is a really, really powerful thing. And then to get the education value and all of that stuff. There's so many resources at our association that just a lot of agents don't know about. To be honest, I mean, 10, 12 years into my career in real estate, I didn't even know about a lot of the resources that they offer there. So it
Hmm.
was really, really exciting for me, which really motivated me to run for the board of directors. And I now serve, actually starting, January 1st, as your treasurer for Las Vegas
Right.
Realtors, and that'll make me part of the executive team, which is really exciting. And yeah, it's been quite the wild ride. It's been exciting, and I can't wait to see where the journey takes me. But it's been great so far, and I can't wait to continue to see all of the great things that we're able to do. I think right now, especially in our industry, with our market being as fluid and as changing as it has, with our legislative year this year coming up, real estate is going to be very much at the forefront of that. And so being involved in our association really, really helps kind of shape the voice of realtors, and shape the voice of advocating for our industry, which I think is incredibly important. If you consider real estate as a career, which I do,
Hmm.
16 years in the game, I feel like it's so important to give back and invest, whether that's your money or your time, or however you can invest into the future of this industry. Because if you don't, then you can't complain when things change, or when things maybe don't go how you would have liked them to. And if we're not advocating for our industry, then who is?
Right. No, I
So that's
voted
kind
for
of,
you. I voted for you as I posted on social media too. I did because I was behind you. I think it's so great. You, Bobby, Aldo, Haiti, Kasama. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. You guys, there's a lot of us from the company, and it really says a lot when you go out there and you give your time, like you say, for your profession and give back. It's incredibly awesome. So congratulations. I do have one very serious question though about that. Okay, so some
I
whoever
can't wait. Let's
depending on
hear
who
it.
you talk to, depending on who you talk to, some people like LVR, or some people still like Galvar. So my question is, which one do you prefer?
It took a while to get used to. I mean, I think after 10 years of saying GLVAR, you just kind of grow accustomed to it. Now that I've been so ingrained in the association, I mean, I'm like, okay, I've made the change to LVR now that I hear it every single day.
Yeah,
You know, it's I'm okay with LVR. I like the branding of it. I
yeah,
think it looks great. I think it's a great representation of where we are and where we're going as an industry. I think we have to constantly be evolving and constantly be at the forefront. So I like LVR. I like the new logo. I think it looks modern. I think I think it's cool. I think it's cool.
yeah. No, I was just playing because the only thing with Galvar, it did have that super villain type esque to it. Galvar. Anyway,
It
that's
did. It did. It did. It did. Galvar. It sounds, it sounds more exciting, I think. I don't know. You can say it as like a word versus
right.
LVR. You kind of have to spell out. You can't say liver. Like, it would sound
Exactly.
a little strange. I don't think people would like that. Yeah.
No, exactly, exactly.
So,
No, the okay. So now, and I really love to hear the answer to this too. You've been doing this for 16 years. You're obviously now partner of one of the most productive teams in Las Vegas and in the country for Berkshire Hathaway too. So congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment. So I would love to hear for someone to be successful in this business, give them, maybe your top three things that you would consider to be important in order to be a success in this business.
sure. The first thing I would say is consistency. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. Our market will change, our market will shift. It's going to do different things. Sometimes this business is going to be easy, sometimes it's going to be really hard. But if you stay consistent doing the same thing, providing the same level of service, educating yourself, networking, staying involved, doing your homework every single day, it will come. It will come. But if you expect everything to kind of be handed to you, or if it gets a little rough and you kind of pull back a little bit, once you start changing what you do, then you start changing the results that you're going to see. So I've always remained consistent. In the beginning of my career, it was incredibly difficult. There were moments where I think I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel, or I wasn't sure, how much longer, I had to put blood, sweat, and tears to actually see results of my labor. And the consistency is what truly paid off. So I would just say, don't get discouraged. Keep going, and stay steady, because I think those things are super, super important, and your clients will see it. Your sphere of influence will see it, and people will start to notice and want to work with you, and keep you in mind, when it comes to real estate. So the second thing I would
Mhm.
say that's super important, that I think a lot of people forget, especially people who have a very strong work ethic, is that work life balance. And it's taken me forever to kind of try to master it. I don't think we ever truly master it. I think it's always something that, at least for me, I keep working at. I have to keep reminding myself, to keep that balance there. I have two incredibly beautiful kids and a wife, and so it's quite the juggling act. I love to be active. I love to work out. I just did a run this morning. I like to do my runs, and so those things are very, very important to me. And I've learned that once you start sacrificing in those areas, it's very, very difficult to be your best for everyone else around you. I mean, we're such a customer service based industry. And if you're not on your A game, you're not 100% within yourself, it's so difficult to be that leader for the people around you. And so that's something I would say, find something for you that is going to be therapeutic for you, something that's going to keep you going. For me, it's working out. For somebody else, it might be meditating in the morning. For somebody else, it might be reading, or whatever that is that feeds your soul. Do it, because it's so important, and you'll really be a better person, not only just for you, but for your friends, your family, and your clients. And so those are definitely the top two things. The third thing I would say is don't be afraid to be uncomfortable. Don't be afraid of change. I think there's so many moments where we maybe question or second guess ourselves. Should I do this or should I take that risk or should I do that? I mean, for me, I've trusted my gut every single time and it's never led me wrong. And so, if that means putting yourself out there more, doing videos, being more social, putting yourself in places that you normally wouldn't. Don't be afraid to do that because if you're not taking risks, then you're not going to hit that level of success playing it safe. You just won't. So that's kind of what I've learned in my career, and so far it's done me pretty well.
Awesome. Well, obviously, you guys are doing incredibly well. You're doing well. You must have started, like I started at 20. If you've been in this for 16 years, you're a young guy. So you must have started early on, as far as in age as well, correct?
Yeah, I started at 16 years old, and at the
I was going to
time,
say.
I was in high school actually, and my parents were like, you need to get a job. My dad was pushing me to become financially independent, and at 16, and I was like, all right. So I called Chris. I had known he had a business of some kind, and then I said, Chris, I wanted to work in an office. Asked him if he had any positions open. He said, no, I don't. He said, but you can come in and you can work. He was like, do you know anything about real estate or property management? I was like, to be honest, I have no idea what that is. Um, and so Chris took a chance on me. He brought me on. He really had no position for me at the time. But very, very quickly, this was 2006. I just really made it my mission to try to educate myself and learn as much as I can. So within the first year, I was already working full time, and I was working weekends, I was working nights, I was working as much as I can because I really fell in love with the business. And what happened after that was our market kind of began to change in '07, '08, as many of us remember. And we began to lay off a lot of our top heavy staff, our accounting guy, our maintenance, on the leasing side and whatnot, because things were changing. And I was the lowest paid person, so it was easy to keep me. And I really absorbed all of their positions as they left. And so I mastered all of them and I was happy to do it. Not getting paid much, but I was learning so much that I thought this education is invaluable. And
Mm.
so I didn't know what that meant for me and my career or my future, but I thought, it's got to take me somewhere somehow. And if not, at the very least, I have this knowledge that hopefully I'll be able to use at some point. And I can truly say that I've used it all. And I've learned so much more in those following years. And, eventually we started doing so many more different parts of the business, like residential property management and residential sales and things of that nature. And I was really kind of able to pull from all of that and make it a success.
Well, that explains a lot when you've worked all the positions that you now work with and have built yourself up to where you are. That explains a lot. That's where you have that respect, that gratitude. It's all you can hear it in your voice too, Joshua. So it's very impressive. So congratulations, great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. I really appreciate it. I think for me as a leader of a team or anything, because I started the way I did, I think for me it's so important to understand every single role in a team effort of any kind. I like to have been able to have actually done the job, to be able to lead the task force or whatever it is. And so that's so important to me. And yeah, I think that's another thing in real estate or just in life. I mean, just remember that no matter how successful you are, there's no job that is too little for you. Yes, our time can be used, better in other areas, and you have to constantly be reevaluating. But uh, just remember that we all started somewhere, and
Right.
so every single position is so important to achieving the end goal.
Yeah, and the people on the team respect you because they know you've worked those. those jobs and you know what you're talking about. It's obvious. It's like when you go to the gym, you look at somebody, ooh, I want to look like that. You ask them questions, right? So it's the same type of thing. So congratulations. All right, my man. Well, I just want to say, Joshua, thank you very much for taking your time out today. This was completely awesome, and I really appreciate you taking your time out and sharing all these wonderful nuggets with the people out there today.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Rick. I appreciate you so much. You've been a fantastic motivator and leader at Berkshire Hathaway, and for all the years that I've seen you at the company. And so I'm very, very grateful to and be invited here today, and I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, my man. Thank you very much, and you keep it rocking, and we'll talk soon. And bye, everybody.
All right.